Well, happy Easter, everybody. Happy Passover, happy Easter. So a man went on vacation in the Middle East with his family, including his mother-in-law. And while they were visiting Jerusalem, his mother-in-law died. With the death certificate in hand, he went to the American consulate to make arrangements to send her body back to the States for a proper burial. The agent told him that to send the body back to the States for a burial would be very expensive. And it would cost around $5,000, but if they did the burial in Jerusalem, as many people did, it would be $150. The man thought for just a brief moment, and then said, "I don't care how much it costs to send this body back to the States. That's what I want to do." The agent, after hearing this, said, "That's very touching. You must have loved your mother-in-law very much, considering the difference in price." "No, it's not that at all," said the man. "You see, I know of a case many years ago where a person that was buried here in Jerusalem, and on the third day, rose from the dead. And frankly, I just can't take that chance." So that's one of my favorite Easter stories. And every couple of years I tell it, so in 3 years you won't remember. I can do it again. But it lays the groundwork for our work here today. And this day we're looking at miracles. Miracles that occur when we make a sacred connection. Or said in another way, miracles occur when we connect with the sacred. When we connect with that indwelling presence of the divine that has on this sacred day. It's a sacred day because of all of the energy. I mean, I passed so many churches today that I've never seen that full ever. They are packed. So we take all of that energy, because even if it's one day a year where someone is in connection with a higher power, with the God of their understanding, that's sacred energy. And so we bask in that energy now, because we sure need that energy on this planet. So Jesus was a living miracle. He was a way shower, a sacred mystic. He transcended the limits of the physical realm. And on Easter, it was like his grand finale of transcending all human limitations that we might have, and we probably do. But the Easter message lays pretty flat unless we realize that it is a message for us. The spirituality we talk about here is practical, it's to use in the real world. So we take the Easter story and we make it practical. So do not think it was just about Jesus. He demonstrated what was possible for you and for me. And if you live in close connection with the sacred as he did, you will transform the tombstone of limitation into the stepping stone of miracles. Unity minister and author Eric Butterworth wrote this: "The open tomb of Easter morning says to you, you can become what you innately are. And this innateness of you far transcends anything you have ever conceived of in your wildest flights of fancy. There is within you," he writes, "a person of stature, of genius, of mastery, struggling to be released. And if you get into the spirit of Easter and let it happen to you, you can believe that every stone of limitation will be rolled away from your tomb." You can become the living miracle and to get into this whole spirit of Easter. But often we don't. We entomb ourselves. We allow those rocks, those stones to keep us buried. The true who we are, our true identity. So listen to these deeply moving words by John Post. This is a man in a court-appointed recovery program who some years ago discovered a New Thought church, which is what we are. This is entitled, and I want to read this with you, Rocks in the Road. And this is what he writes. Here I am, stumbling when I should be standing, crawling when I could be running, crying when I should be laughing. The road ahead, wide open and smooth, the goal so clear and tempting, the journey so easy if I just allow it to be. Except the rocks I throw in my own road, holding me back, slowing me down, making difficult the things that should be so easy. The mural that is the rest of my life is still a blank white wall with ghostly outlines traced in place, a hint of what lies ahead, waiting for the color and texture that comes with the living of it. A blank slate, a white wall, except for the rocks thrown there by myself. Clear the way. Quit creating my own hurdles. Quit holding myself back. See the picture, live the colors, feel the texture, be alive again. The man inside wants out. Kindness and warmth live here. Music and laughter live here. The mural, hidden but still real, waiting to be revealed, hiding behind the rocks I place in the road. So this morning I ask each and every one of us, what would it take to remove those rocks, to roll away the tombstone, to make the true and lasting sacred connection and be a living miracle by creating a life that we really love to live, not entombed, not with the rocks holding us back. And so every Easter I kind of struggle a little bit with the theme because it's, what can I say, it's different and unusual, something you haven't heard perhaps before 100 times. And every message I have ever given can be summed up with, you are God. Get it and go live it. We're all creations of the divine, each and every one of us. We are eternal. There is no death in the divine. So there truly is no death in us, not in the essence, the truth of who we are. Physical form, yes. But our true reality, who we are, no. It's eternal. So I do have some comfort in knowing that my Christian colleagues have been preaching the same exact message for over 2,000 years. And I've only been doing this for about 20 or so. So despite that, we can go on. 2,000 years ago, the master teacher, Jesus, taught us that we were sons and daughters of the Most High. 2,000 years ago, his resurrection symbolized the power of spiritual understanding over human limitations. 2,000 years ago, he said, these things and more you can do as well. He was preaching that word of this new thought that we live, that these things and more, not only Jesus can do, but that we can do. When we stop getting in our own way and throwing the rocks into our pathway of living life. Limitless possibilities. Nothing is impossible, only what we think is impossible. In modern times, there was an Indian mystic named Sai Baba. He seemed to possess the ability to manifest things of solid form out of the formless. And his presence, people were healed in it. It sounds like the work of Jesus. The same clear channel. A Western reporter once interviewed him and asked if he was God. and if he was God. And what he answered was, yes, I am. Everyone in attendance was stunned. And then he continued, so are you. The only difference between you and me is that I know it and you doubt it. We doubt ourselves. We get in the flow, we manifest things, we live a life that's filled with joy, and then in comes that doubt. And that doubt is the biggest stone that we have in our way of living a really fulfilled life. That's the difference between Jesus and us. He knew it. He knew it, and we doubt it. He had an ongoing, unending, continual sacred connection. And so can you, so can I. So just take this in for a minute, because we need to hear this. You are a piece of God, a divine creation, a being of light that showed up at exactly this time when you were supposed to. Why do you doubt it? You are beloved, a miracle, a part of the eternal perfection. Why do you doubt it? We often say that we are a drop of water in the mighty ocean. And actually, Rumi's version is so much better when Rumi said, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. Why do you doubt it? You are the creator of your own universe, because the creative power is as close as your breath, as near as your hands and feet. Why do you doubt it? Jesus knew those things. Sai Baba knew those things. Why do we doubt them so? And we do. I do. Maybe you don't. But I'm not of that consciousness yet where I'm completely connected to my sacred self, the sacred I am, the great I am. I'm aware of it. We talk about it every week. We are a part of this infinite, glorious creation called life. No matter what's going on in the world today, we still have the choice to connect with that love that is the truth of our being. It is the absolute truth of our being. Jesus knew these things. And by understanding what Easter symbolizes, each of us can release our own doubts, our own sense of personal inadequacy, and more joyously move into a new dimension of what we call miracles. I love that word. Some people don't like that word in our spirituality because, God does, and so it is. And that's the truth. But for us, when we do it, it feels like a miracle. When we let go and let God, it feels like miraculous occurrences are taking place. So I like that word. And being, not just becoming, but being the living miracle is today's message. Today I ask each and every one of you to identify more with yourself as a spiritual being, a divine offspring. So beautiful. Claiming your birthright. You are heir to the kingdom of good. You are heir to the divine good of God itself. Our awareness on this more often is focused on our awareness of a limited personal sense of self. But when we embody these ideas of this higher consciousness, it's so much more expansive. It feels so good. And isn't the whole point of living to live a life as happy as we can with what is going on in our personal lives and around us? But to choose to find something to be grateful for and become the miracle of life itself in that moment, to feel the heart open, to expand our awareness and embody these 5 ideas. The first idea is, I am an infinite being. I am a spiritual being having a body experience. Even as my body ages, my spirit is eternal. I am whole spiritually, and that's the truth. Second, I am one with all life, connected to the universal intelligence and all of life. I am never alone. It's very important for a lot of people to remember, you are not alone. You are not alone when you have that personal relationship with the God of your understanding. Third one is, I am co-creator. My thoughts and beliefs create my reality. I take responsibility for my life now and learn how to live more consciously. And the fourth is, I live in abundance. As part of this infinite life, I am abundant. I know how to demonstrate abundance through living by the principle of abundance, of knowing that this is a lavish universe, truly, that there is no lack, there is no limitation in divine mind. So our spirit, our true eternal self is never limited. There's no lack, there's no limitation. There is only lavish abundance within us. That's the truth. Why do we doubt it? We do. I am love. Nothing more needs to go with that fifth one. To be the love. So I have a drop for you now. It's an important one if you want to embrace these ideas this morning. And my guess is that each and every one of us had something in our past, right? I mean, really, we've been alive. Either distant or more recent. That we are letting hold us back, though. That's the difference. Something in our past, possibly, that is holding us back and not allowing us to live the miracle that we are, and living from this state of miracles, living from the peace itself. Something that we are allowing to entomb us. A childhood wound, a relationship wound, a wound in the name of God sometimes. Could you today, do you think, could you today roll that stone of limitation away? Get that rock out of your path from this moment forward, by refusing to ever speak of it again. Do we have a wound and all we do is talk about it to anyone that will listen? We're living and creating more of that same wound. And that's holding us back from living a fulfilling life. To never again use it as an excuse for not fully expressing life. And you might proclaim, oh no, if I can't share that wound, what would I talk about? What would I have in common with people? If I can't blame and use this as an excuse for not being who I am, what will I do? If I'm not my past, who am I? We've associated with the past for so long. Now it's time, and this is the day, to roll that rock away and let the true beauty of who you are, because you are divine, you are God, get it, go out and live it. Really live it. It is your sacred connection that defines you. Right now, not your past. The past is over. It's done. It's now. That's what defines us. Jesus had an awakened belief system that was established in oneness, in unity, and love. Jesus demonstrated the ultimate miracle. He overcame death. He could do this because he didn't believe in death as an eternal reality. And whether or not the resurrection story is a literal fact is not what matters. What really matters is the idea that Jesus overcame death by believing more in life. He believed in eternal life. He did not believe in death, believing himself to be one with God. So it's time to awaken our belief system, to really shift it. So a young nun who was working for a local home healthcare agency was making her visits in her car to different locations when she ran out of gas. As luck would have it, there was a gas station 1 block away. She walked to the station to borrow a can and fill it up with enough gas to take it back to her car, to drive her car to the gas station to fill it up. The attendant regretfully told her that someone else had just borrowed it, and they should be back any moment if she wanted to wait. But since the nun was on her way to see a patient, she decided not to wait and walked back to her car. After looking through her car for something to carry to the station and fill it with gas, she spotted a bedpan that she was taking to a patient. Always resourceful, she carried it back to her car. As she was pouring the gas, so she filled it with gas, she took it back to her car. Filling her car, two men were watching from across the street. And one of them turned to the other and said, "I know that it is said that Jesus turned water into wine. But if that car starts, I'll become a believer for the rest of my life." When will you become a believer for the rest of your life in the power that occurs when you live from the sacred connection as Jesus did? A miracle is in the changing of consciousness from the thought of impossibility to the attitude of faith that all things are possible. That's a miracle. When we get out of our way and say, "This is impossible," and say all things are possible, that is a major shift in our lives. And you watch what happens in your life. Miracles happen. Miracles. Because what we think is what we become. It shows up in our lives, what we feel and with our emotions, with our thoughts. We are creating our lives. Is it going to be joyful or is it going to be unhappy? We get to choose that. In any circumstance. So don't, if anyone's in their head going, "Yeah, it's easy for you to say, but I got this going on and this we're always going to have something going on in our lives. But still, we look for the good as best we can. Do you need to see a miracle before you believe that you are a living miracle? You are. We are. Our bodies, the way we think, the way we move, we're living miracles. But let's not wait. Let's do as Wayne Dyer suggested. When you believe it, you will see it. And that's well said. And so if you believe it and you see it, then believe this, that you are a creation of God. Just get it and go out and live it. And live it on this day forward. And I have to just say Happy Easter to everybody and roll those rocks right out of your way. Yeah. Right?